by taking acetyl-CoA and acetyl-CoA and getting acetyl-CoA. And then by making HMG-CoA synthase, and then you get 3-hydroxy 3-methylglutaril-CoA. So, once you have this substrate works on multiple enzymes in multiple directions. If you have some of this and it happens to run into HMG-CoA lyase, you're going to make acetyl-CoA and acetyl-acetate. If, on the other hand, you happen to run into HMG-CoA reductase, same intermediate. We just did this this first pathway, same exact pathway. 2-acetyl-CoA to acetyl-acetyl-CoA to 3-hydroxy 3-methylglutaril-CoA. If instead this enzyme is around, you're going to make mevalonate. It's the exact same pathway for the first 3 steps. It's just dependent on what's upregulated or where you are. So the difference between making cholesterol and making ketone bodies is which enzyme you run into. That's it. Okay, so once you get from mevalonate, you make our squalene, and I will look up and see if that's in shark oil. Yeah. And then from squalene, you go through this long 19-step reaction process, and you get cholesterol. Okay? So I want you to know that you go from mevalonate to squalene, okay? And I'm not worried, the isoprenoid is an intermediate. And then you go from squalene, and lanosterol is also an intermediate, it's like the precursor. Squalene to cholesterol. And I want you to notice that you actually get rid of, a couple carbons, right? Like right here, you go from 30 to 27. So you should know that cholesterol has 27 carbons, but you'll know that by the time you're done with drawing that anyway. All right, so before I turn this off and erase these things and start drawing, so I'll highlight this part, this is just what we were talking about. This is just this little mechanism. And I gave you figure 17.2, but then you can go back to the ketone bodies, right, and look at the enzyme difference. So if you're making ketone bodies, are you in the fed or fasting condition? Fasting. Yep, and if you're making cholesterol, you're in the
fed.
So what's upregulated? The enzyme that goes this HMG-CoA reductase. Okay, if you're in the fed state, you're upregulating cholesterol production, which means that this enzyme is going up. If you're in the fasting state, you're upregulating HMG-CoA lyase. Oh, sorry, yeah, okay. So if you're in the fed condition,
You make cholesterol.
yeah, you're upregulating cholesterol production, which means you're upregulating production or the affinity of HMG-CoA reductase for its substrate. If, on the other hand, you are in the fasting condition, it's the same substrate, right? You've just upregulated instead production and or activity of the other enzyme, which is HMG-CoA lyase, which goes toward ketone body production. So this is a really specific, concrete example of where same substrate, 2 different pathways, 2 different conditions.
And what is the substrate?
The substrate is this thing right here, 3-hydroxy 3-methylglutaril-CoA.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll give